Catch up on all the live shows right here on africatechradio.com.
There is no way around Monday, guys. No way. You just have to go through it. After a long, relaxing, or maybe not so relaxing weekend, waking up to Monday can be really tough. I know, guys, I know. But Mondays don't have to be all that bad, you know? In fact, they can be seen as a fresh start and the perfect day of the week to set out new opportunities. Well, I know some people would say, Guy, I really need a day in between Sunday and Monday so that I don't have to finish up on Sunday and then I get into Monday. I can just rest first after the rest and then prepare and then get onto Monday. Just one small positive thought in the morning, Monday morning especially, can change your whole day. And this is not me speaking, it is the Dalai Lama speaking. Welcome to Tony's Tech Side. I'm here every weekday from 9 a.m. West African time till midday. We'll learn a tech word, we dig deep into the rubbles of history to find precious jewels of knowledge to launch us into the future, and then share the most important and juiciest tech stories impacting Africa to keep you informed. Yes, you can share your stories with the rest of us on WhatsApp, text, or send a voice note on 0913-558-1766. Please add +234 if you're texting from outside Nigeria. We're in the last few days. In fact, I think it's the last 5 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I think the fast ends just last 4 or 3 days to the end of the month of Ramadan. And the last 10 days are, really special. And that's the holy month of Ramadan. And the last few days are really special. And if you've kept faith from then till now, 29, 30 days almost gone, then you should intensify all your efforts in the last few days to ensure that the gains from this holy month, you actually can get it. And not just get it, but keep it even post the holy month of Ramadan. Remember that your Monday morning thoughts set the tone for your whole week. So see yourself getting stronger and living a fulfilling, happier, and healthier life. Okay, yes, it's Monday, but who said Mondays have to suck? It's just you. You're telling yourself that. Be a rebel, guys. Have a great day anyways, whether or not it's a Monday. So Monday, we meet again. Yes, you can say you'd never be friends, but maybe you can move past that, to the point where you're thinking of a much more positive partnership, yeah? Remember that you usually don't find happiness. You have to make it happen. Make where you are happy. Don't just count the days like Muhammad Ali would say. Make the days count. So I raise up my glasses, even if it's a glass of water, because it's Monday, right? So I raise my glass of water up to all those who have made it into another week full of weekdays, faking adulthood. When you're done, it will be known as an African KO. So let's get into our word for today. Our tech word for today is 4G LTE. It's an abbreviation for fourth generation long-term evolution that was developed by the Third Generation Partnership Project. LTE is a type of 4G that is designed to deliver fast mobile internet experience. It's 10 times faster than 3G speeds for mobile devices, your smartphones, your notebooks, tablets, wireless hotspots. And the aim of 4G LTE, some people call it 4G Lite, is to make the internet experience on a mobile device the same as on a home computer. In 2008, the ITU, International Telecommunications Union, required all services using 4G to adhere to a set of speed and connection standards, making the gap between 3G and 4G quite enormous or big in terms of the service and the capability. To bridge this gap, LTE was created to represent a long-term evolution, LTE, long-term evolution towards the 4G standard. That's, how you evolve to that 4G standard. The 4G LTE is better than 3G, but not as good as the real 4G, right? Although the difference between LTE and the true 4G may not be very noticeable. And there are a lot of African countries who actually took this up and they actually started with 4G LTE before they actually moved on to 4G. And a lot of people are actually talking about 5G now. So cellular phone companies began deploying 5G in 2019. And 5G uses more advanced radio technology, allowing for uploading and downloading data much more faster. While the 4G LTE, remember, long-term evolution, LTE requires fewer masts built miles apart. 5G uses lots of small cells located closer together. Now, these stations can be packed on street lights or on the side of a building. In theory, 4G LTE hits speeds of up to 150 megabits per second download and 50 megabits per second upload. In reality, the speeds are more like 20 megabits per second download and 10 megabits per second for upload. And 5G theoretically hits speeds upwards of 10 gigabits per second, right? So it's really important to note that 5G is still in the developing stages, so coverage is really, really limited. Yeah, that's a tech word for today. 4G LTE, and LTE there means long-term evolution. In case you see that on your phone, your mobile phone, or your devices, any of your devices, 4G LTE, 3G, like that's just what it means exactly. So let's go straight up into today in 1986, the world's longest war ends without a single shot having been fired. The state of the war between Netherlands and the island of Sicily had been extended for a total of 335 years by the lack of a peace treaty. Some historians doubt that the war had ever been declared. I also doubt that there had ever been a war there if that was the longest war and they did not fire a single shot. Maybe that's what most offices look like. LOL. Well, also, April 17, 1967, the spacecraft Surveyor 3 was launched from Cape Kennedy in Florida in the United States of America. It's the second U.S. spacecraft to make a soft landing on the moon, where it studied the lunar surface and sent more than 6,000 pictures back to Earth. In all, 7 surveyors will be sent to the moon, 5 of them successfully completing the soft landings. Yes, and I have just in a few minutes something that's really important, which is the holy month of Ramadan and how Muslims, Nigeria, Africa, all around the continent are making more use of technology to ensure that this holy month of Ramadan, they make the best and the most of it. Stay with me. Yes, story. It's time for the most juiciest and most impactful tech stories starting up the new week. Sayari Labs, in collaboration with the Kenya Space Agency and Endurosat, has launched Kenya's first 3U Earth observation satellite, the Taifa 1, or the Nation 1. That's like the nation's first. It happened on the 15th of April 2023. That's just a few days ago, from when I'm actually doing this live, talking about this. And it was aboard the SpaceX's Falcon 9 full thrust rocket from Space Launch Complex 4E. That's the Vandenberg Space Force Base in the United States of America. Yes, so a team of Kenyan engineers from Sayari Labs designed and constructed the Taifa 1 in collaboration with Bulgarian aerospace manufacturer Endurosat AD, and this helped offset the design cost, actually. The satellite was intentionally designed to weigh a ton to reduce development time and launch costs and to facilitate entry for developing countries without the capacity for large satellites. It's quite a small one, but trust me, it will do the job of the first satellite that needs to actually go out for that country. And this is the first step towards developing a proposed constellation of small EO satellites for Kenya. It's expected to significantly contribute to the spurring of the growth of the Kenyan space community and the Kenyan space economy also, by improving satellite development, data analytics, processing, and application capabilities. Now, this mission is expected to provide accurate and timely Earth observation data to the stakeholders across various sectors for, certain strategic developmental decisions. For example, the data that would be gotten from Taifa 1 would support agriculture, natural resource management, environmental observations, and it just kind of like demonstrates Kenya's progress in developing satellite manufacturing capabilities, because I heard them talk a lot about this in the build up to the launch. And this Taifa 1, the launch was postponed, I think, 3 times. And we were all waiting, for it to happen. We did all through from the beginning of the week, 12th to 13th to 14th to 15th. We waited up until the time when it was actually launched. This is tied to the new chapter in humanity's search for extraterrestrial life that happened last week, Thursday. That's this last Thursday, when Europe's JUICE spacecraft, blasted off on a mission to investigate the icy moons of Jupiter. So now this was first developed, or discovered rather, by Italian astronomer. Yes, very popular Galileo Galilei. Yeah, yep. But then this was more than 400 years ago, right? These ice-covered moons are so far from the sun that they were long dismissed as possible places to host life in our backyard. Until very recently, our solar system's habitable zone was thought to end at Mars. In fact, I studied that in school. Yes, but French astrophysicist Athena Costanis, one of the scientific leads of the European Space Agency's JUICE mission, is saying that, maybe we should expand our horizon. NASA's Galileo, that's the name of the spacecraft, will go to Jupiter. Also, NASA's Galileo actually went to Jupiter in 1995, and the most recent Cassini went to Saturn, and caused scientists to kind of like broaden their horizon to say, okay, maybe, just maybe, we may actually have life out of, the mass where we said was our border. And this is not really for Jupiter as a planet, but its moons, right? Yes, because they say that, the moons are like covered with, they're icy moons, right? So Europa, Ganymede, and also Saturn's Enceladus and Titan, very possible, right? The moons of these gas giant planets may just have some life, because why? Under their icy surfaces, we think that, there would be huge oceans of liquid water, because why would you have, ice and not water underneath? Yes, and water is an ingredient for life, as we all know it. So we just hope that the European Space Agency, which launched the JUICE project just last week, that we can actually with these projects explore habitats beyond the front line that's between Mars and Jupiter. So, and a friend of mine who works with the European Space Agency, when I heard the voice note, no, not the voice note, he did like the voiceover, yes, for the European Space Agency. And I was like, what are you doing? Yes, so I'm using this, to say hi to that guy. Yeah, he's actually African, but he works on the communications end of the European Space Agency. And something that's really important also to note is still on, going out of space, is that American entrepreneur Elon Musk and his SpaceX company are launching the most powerful rocket ever developed in human history. It's the first time, so they're attempting to launch, right? It's an attempt at a maiden launch. Now, this rocket stands at almost 120 meters. That's 400 feet high, and it's designed to have almost double the thrust of any rocket in history. So this particular demonstration or maiden launch will lift off from Boca Chica in Texas, and the aim is to send the upper stage of the vehicle eastward to complete almost one circuit of the globe. And Musk has appealed for everyone to kind of like, don't set your expectations too high. It's not really uncommon for a rocket to experience some kind of failure on its initial outing, and the first launch would be quite complicated, especially if you're launching one as gigantic as this one. And according to Musk, if we do launch, I would consider anything that does not result in a destruction of the launch pad itself to be a win. I will really be looking out for this. And it's 1300, 1 p.m. GMT, right? So let's look out for this. Let's see what's happening. It's anticipated thousands of spectators will try to reach coastal locations in the Gulf of Mexico to witness this particular event. And Elon Musk is hoping to completely upend the rocket business with Starship. And this also drags me to the will I call it Virgin Atlantic now? Yeah. Which, kind of like had issues in the UK, and now they're thinking of, getting a buyer or maybe just closing shop. This business is not for small boys. If you're going out of space, that is not small boy business, man. You need to put in a lot of money, and you're not even sure because nobody has made it work before on the private end of things, right? So nobody knows what business models would make it work. Those who are doing it, especially in the US, like NASA, the ESA, in Europe, those in Russia, China too. It's just government funded, like big money government funded, and it's mainly for researches and things like that. So, like, what business model will really work, for someone who is going into the space industry, especially when you're doing the flights out, and it's not just you launching, a satellite or something, or putting a satellite out, because we figured that out. But then how to make a business out of it, I don't think we figured that out yet, and it'll take a while. But whoever gets there first is just like everything else, just like AI technologies, and Musk saying he's getting into AI to maybe funding a startup or buying up a startup that would actually compete with ChatGPT. That's OpenAI's ChatGPT, which is funded by Microsoft, another big money. Whoever gets there first gets the first mover advantage and decides to use it as they wish. It's really important that we talk about these things. We talk about some other sides of it too that doesn't really get that much talk about it, which is one, space debris. Really, really important. As we're launching a lot of things and putting a lot of things out there, are we also thinking about possible effects of putting these things out there on us? Because right now these things are out there and they're telling us, oh, maybe there's a wind coming. They're showing us things, right? It's like they're in the future. They can see things that we cannot see immediately, and then they give us the powers to see those things that they're seeing. Bird's eye view, right? Now, is there a possibility that there might be some dangers to maybe the kind of things, the makeup of the components of these satellites that we're putting out there, these birds that we're putting out there to fly, over our head, right? Are there any effects to them, any dangers to them? This should be intensely studied, and this should develop as much and as fast as we're developing the technology of the birds to actually put out there. That's one. And then my comment for AI technologies, people have said, be afraid, but man can't be afraid. Man cannot be afraid. We own the world. Yeah, we're proud like that. So yes, we own the world, and we may discover late, right? That's why it's really important for us to develop ethics of the use of AI and the development of AI technologies, as hand in hand as we're doing this other one, developing the main technologies that are solving problems for us. So it's really important that we keep discussing it and keep deciding, like dragging everybody to say, yes, we have rules for now, follow them. Even if these rules are not advanced, let's follow them. And let's know that whatever future, just like the internet right now, whatever future we want it to look like, it might look like it's a business opportunity, but also look at the other end of things, because when the internet goes crazy, everyone kind of like, everyone, it affects everybody, impacts everybody. So this is the thought I want us to go into. Actually, everything that we do, right? All the technologies you're developing, the codes you're writing, the ideas you have, how you're marketing these tools, and when you're developing that product, right? Think of everything, right? Not just the part where you are actually earning or you're benefiting as someone who's producing it, but then look at the end user. Look at the different situations of the end user. And I think it'll be a lot better for you in terms of sustainability, sustaining that business to last for a longer time than normal. Guys, carry your hustle on your shoulder. Walk with it, and then try to think in the shoes of someone else so that you would understand what they're going through and how exactly to ensure that you are taking care of their needs, not just for now, but for the future. And of course, you're going to be taking feedback. That doesn't, like, we are not taking that out of the way. I do this every weekday from 9 a.m. West African time. So every weekday, join me on Africa Tech Radio as we stream live on www.africatechradio.com. Wherever you're listening to this, whenever you're listening to this, 9 a.m. West African time, we're live streaming on Africa Tech Radio. We're at A Tech Radio on Instagram and at Africa Tech Radio on Facebook and on Twitter.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to catch up on all the live shows right here on africatechradio.com.